Good morning, good evening, good night, wherever you are. Welcome back to number 166, part 2 of Lana's Little Things with me, Dr. Lana, specialist gerontologist, talking all things on living agelessly, family caregiving, entrepreneurship, bridging generational gaps, life itself. And I split this in two. Well, one, you hopefully would have been able to see the one from earlier where I am just outside, outdoors, doing grounding. Well, we'll talk about grounding in a little bit. So, I'm going to talk tonight about something I have not really broached before on this channel, and that is burnout. Well, you might say, well, you talked about burnout already. No. This one, that was caregiver burnout, maybe fatigue for an older person. What do you do when you feel like you can't go on anymore and life is just stressful? But in terms of, and that's for families, but in terms of the physician, where we don't talk enough about ourselves. Do you find? I find that we physicians have this super cape as well, obviously. We don't acknowledge we have to place our oxygen mask on, or we acknowledge it in theory. Does it ever work out in practice? When was the last time you said, you know what, I'm going to put my oxygen mask on? I'm going to take a break. I'm going to ease from this in a minute. When was the last time you did that? Comment in the comment section below and let me know. Because I had a moment this week of some serious introspection. And you know where that came from? Because it was like one thing after another, things piling up, feeling as though you're just giving and there's nothing coming your way. And there's no release, there's no press pause, there's no ease in the situation. And physician burnout is a whole new passion of mine that we'll talk about some point, maybe in another, and definitely at some other point. And I want to, while we're here now, invite you and family caregivers to join Lana's Little Things .com, the website, where I do have a course for family caregivers. I really want us physicians to connect as well, where we can find a safe space. Moving on a little bit now into actual what physician burnout is. What is it? And then more importantly, is there anything that we can do, or what can we do? There's so much to burnout. It's not possible to cover it in the few minutes we're going to spend here. And so I encourage you to, let's have a place, a real forum where we can talk together. But also to look it up for yourself and to maybe do some introspection for yourself and see where in there you may be feeling and may already be experiencing burnout, or your colleagues, or you can maybe highlight to a colleague that they may be at risk, or you're in a company and maybe they do have a burnout policy, or there are places that you can go to where there's a safe space for you and your colleagues in the company if there's to prevent burnout. Because I think by the time you are so exhausted, you kind of just can't move, and that's reducing productivity for everybody. So let me just get into a little bit of what burnout is. Now, I know we know it theoretically, right? But again, physician, heal thyself. And we know what we're talking about when we say that. So burnout is manifested in many, many ways. But let's take one of the definitions from the American Medical Association that I've found very helpful in the research. And it's emotional exhaustion. It's feeling a lack of personal achievement. It's feeling an effect which I have felt too, and I know many of you may have felt it. Depersonalization. You just feel like like your system is closing down. Like, you know how, I mean, I'm a Disney girl, I'm a Pixar girl, I am animation, I am TV, I am a movie buff, I am just TV all my life. And I love what comes out of theater, of cinema. And Inside Out, many of you know from Pixar. I'll just leave a link there because I just really love the concept of that, where this where they focus on our emotions in some colorful ways, and without going into it too much. The deep, the shutdown is like the control panel on Inside Out, where it just goes all black sometimes, where you feel like you can't even move another muscle. You feel as though you can't talk to another patient, at least not for 5 minutes, or maybe not for a week. And it's just not that you don't care, not that you've released all interest. That is not it. I had a discussion with another a fellow in the office, and she said, but you know, are you feeling? What does it mean? What does it mean? I said, but it's just the fact that it's not that you don't care. Of course we care. We wouldn't be in this job if we didn't care, at least in some form or the other, right? But it's just that you've reached a point where, you know what's the imbalance? The imbalance is the care for others has superseded or replaced the proper care for ourselves. And that is the issue. That's where the rub comes. That's where you feel almost cheated, almost, um, yeah, robbed of your sense of self, robbed of your time. And it's no one's fault, but if you're not going to put blame on someone else, where does the blame tend to go? Inwardly, making you even more exhausted, shutting down your panel of emotion, of care, of just the ability to go another step. That's going to reduce your productivity. It's going to increase your chances of feeling that you're not handling what you're doing well, like you may not be getting in touch with your admin work. You feel like, did I write the right prescription? And it's just fear based. It's all fear because it comes from, and it's exhaustion. It's exhaustion because there's only so much that a human being, yes, we're still human. Remember, we're still human. We have not developed any extra superpowers. We've just been led to believe that we've got extra superpowers. And we do have superpowers, my physicians, brothers and sisters in medicine. We got superpowers, believe it or not. We do, but not extra. Nothing supplants our humanity. And when we acknowledge that we have humanity, the better we can serve others, ourselves first, oxygen mask first, you know what I'm saying? And others. COVID-19 showed us that very well. Oh, we were the heroes, unsung heroes, along with the bakers and, you know, sanitation people and everyone who's been just working so hard to help persons to get better. But then as time went on and as this got more and more prolonged and the stressors of just not even knowing what will happen with our own families, that has led to this surge in feelings of burnout, expressions of dissatisfaction with the job, with the work, feeling as though you're not handling it well, feeling as though you're not being supported by others, because we tend not to support each other very well, and we tend not to ask for help very well. I was supposed to child for that, right? And that can lead to all kinds of issues. So that's kind of like a summary of all the negative things. But it's a channel where we're gonna talk positive stuff. We're gonna keep it real. Did mention in the video before of just the way we can ground ourselves, going outdoors in our days off, just walking in the grass, walking on the beach. I'm in the Caribbean, so you got to take time if you can get to a beach and walk, or buy some sand, put your toes in it. Hey, anything natural, anything to do with any natural surface. If you have a plant at home, most of us have at least one plant. Just take a time to look at the leaves and see the peace that nature brings. Listen to the birds in the morning. Do a gratitude journal. Pray. Link. Connect with others. Connect with family. Connect with friends. Okay? Those are some ways that we can mitigate the effects of burnout. As it comes and it escalates to a different level, then we can meet with other colleagues. We can discuss it at a company level. We can bring it up at a company level. But it originates in systems, as one of the person who wrote the article was talking about. It's not deficiency in our elasticity or resiliency, no. Because then that's a blame game. It's just maybe a system in which we may work. So we have to find a better system, a system that works for us, for colleagues, for the company, a place where we can find a safe space to speak to each other, being kind to each other, being compassionate with each other as we would with our patients, finding ways that we can bridge the generational gaps, bring families together. Maybe we can be a place where families can hang out and they can talk in a Zoom meeting. It doesn't have to be in the office. If you're dealing with older persons as I do, or you're just dealing with the volume of increase in stressors that we see in our patients, things are more at a social level just as much as they're on a medical level nowadays. And there isn't just a pill or a tablet or an injection or a written prescription for everything. The prescription is exercise. The prescription is gratitude. The prescription is pressing pause. The prescription is connecting. The prescription is sleep. 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 So I'm just hoping that these few minutes we're able to kind of bridge a gap, that and find a space where we can all find a place where we can, one, acknowledge our humanity. Acknowledge, yes, we want to do a great job. We want to do the best we can. Everyone sets out to do the best that they can, to be the highest that they can be, to do the best work they can do. And when we're like that, that is fine. But once we acknowledge our humanity, we can be in a safer place. So, what has been your greatest experience? What has been when I say it's greatest, I mean your experience with burnout. Are you experiencing burnout right now? Is a colleague of yours experiencing burnout? Do you want to just press a pause or find a way to mitigate the effects of it? Let's talk. But let's share. And let's acknowledge. And let's be more mindful of each other and of ourselves. From my heart as a physician to yours, it's time to reset and put on our oxygen mask. Yep. So, until next time, Dr. Lana signing out and saying, wellness is for everybody, physicians included.